Good morning, everybody. Respected Banu Didi, dear delegates and friends. 2 days into this amazing conference, and a lot has been said about the special ways in which women are helping transform the world, providing, as we saw yesterday, the human touch and using technologies in ways that are hitherto unforeseen. I was thinking about this a lot yesterday night before going to bed. But there is one aspect of women and technology that does bother and concern me. And I think I'm entitled to say that, being the only male member on the dais today, and definitely gender disadvantaged in this room. In my day job, I run an education company that works with about 15 million students across the world, most of them in India. And roughly about 8 million of them are young women who, in 3 to 5 years, will be ready to assume very important roles in society. They will take the decisions about going to college, getting married, taking up jobs, and other responsibilities such as motherhood, etc. Increasingly, I see boys and girls making fundamentally different choices about their careers. And this is something that I'd like to discuss over the next 7 or 8 minutes today. It may seem very strange to say this, considering that we are at the beginning of the new millennium, 2012, but young women increasingly choose roles and careers that I believe are not technocentric, but rather technophobic. Sample this. Only 8% of IIT Mumbai, and IIT is the premier institute of technology in this country, only 8% of the class of 2010 were women. However, 80% of the class of 2010 of one of the leading fashion design institutes in India were women. So what's going on here? And does it need our attention? I believe it does. For one, research has actually shown that women effectively perform far better than men in technology-centric roles. Something to really think about. And I'm sure you're pleasantly surprised by this. Research has shown that female-led high-tech startups, not in India, not in Bangalore, in Silicon Valley, generate higher revenues per dollar of invested capital and have lower failure rates than those led by men. And only 12% of chief technology officers of the leading Fortune 500 companies are women. But those companies that had the CTOs as women performed far better than those companies that had men CTOs. Point number 2, women demonstrate a very different and a very humanistic way of using technology that seems far more relevant to this century than the male version of technology adoption. While a man would like to dominate technology, a woman would find ways to use technology to achieve a goal that is far greater than herself. Let me tell you a real story. My company sells education technology products which help improve teaching learning processes inside classrooms and generally improve teacher productivity. As an aside, over 90% of teachers in India, of the 6 million teachers in India, are women. In the initial years of our existence, we tried to sell education technology as a technology product. And we focused on words like how fast it worked, what was the RAM used in it, .NET, Java, terabytes, bandwidth, so on and so forth. And we used this to woo the customers. The product was not moving fast enough. And then we employed a woman marketing manager. And in 5 minutes, she understood that her entire pitch was completely different. What we needed to emphasize was not technology, but how it can help teachers teach better and students learn better. So we changed our entire pitch. We started talking about stress-free learning, cognitive development, happy students, and today, because of that simple 5-minute change, we sell this product to over 10,000 schools, and there are 6 million students in India who use the product. So, in this very simple experiential anecdote, it seems to me lie the seeds of a far greater social revolution. And my proposition is, if we are to see more women in technology, we have to position technology with a human and a caring face. Look at the two terms, women and technology. Both terms in our mind may seem a little bit contradictory to each other. Yet to me, it seems that nature has a way of balancing these contradictory and opposite forces into a very powerful and beautiful progressive action. It is as if these two values, opposite values, are complementary. And that is something that you would be very familiar with. How many of you agree that women are as good or better than men when it comes to technology and computer science? Can we have a show of hands here? I'm not surprised all of you believe that. Yet, data shows, as I was explaining to you earlier, that women are underrepresented in technology. So there is a techno-education gender divide, if I can coin the term, that's going on here. And it seems that while women, like yourself, have recognized what they can bring to the table with regard to technology, they aren't coming forward in larger numbers to fill up positions in engineering and technology jobs. And this is far more relevant for a country like India. In India, young girls have traditionally been gender disadvantaged. Yet, we are discovering that technology is now proving to be an amazing tool, not just for economic liberation for women, because technology jobs usually pay better, but also for social liberation. And let me tell you the example of one state in India that is making it happen. The state of Rajasthan, where traditionally the girl child has been the one in the family who does not go to school. But under the aegis of a government program called the Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, or Education for All, the Rajasthan government set up 5,000 computer labs in schools across the state, urban areas, rural areas, and so on. And 5 years into the program, the results are absolutely amazing. There have been over 150,000 young girls who are now empowered, who have been taught computer education, and many of them have left their small towns and villages, escaped from that life of drudgery in which they might have been, for example, married off when they were as young as 16 or 18 years old, to a life which we all know, we can all imagine what it might be. Now they are in cities like Delhi, Mumbai, and Jaipur, taking up jobs in BPOs and KPOs. All of this happened because somebody in the government had a bright idea, said, let us teach these girls about computer science. And that has worked wonders. So, in this intersection of women and technology, I believe this can fundamentally change the world, because putting women and technology together can create a beautiful balance. One, women based on EQ, and the other based on thinking and logic. One, merely a tool, technology, and the other, a knower of how to use the tool. So, where do we go from here? I think women, technology, and society are converging like never before. And I would like to see women having a pole position in this convergence. Today, a mobile phone is not just a computer, but it can be used for language learning. Face recognition software helps us find missing children. Supercomputers are accurately predicting the weather and helping prevent natural disasters like tsunamis. Computer-aided design software is helping women across the world develop a second income for themselves working from home. Tutoring software, something that I'm very familiar with, is helping teachers across the world teaching kids who are not even in their local communities. But what do we need to do? We need to counsel parents not to create a gender divide. and this is a very real gender divide that we see today. We need to applaud success stories of women who have touched heights in technology-oriented jobs, and there are ample examples of this going around. Everything is converging. So shouldn't women, technology, and education converge? This is, according to me, the next big convergence. And I would like to call it, with a new term, humanity and women. I'd like to call it womanity. If we want the quickest route to making the world a better place, let us send more women to engineering schools and technology schools. I predict that in the next 10 years, more than 50% of the class of 2021 in IIT Mumbai would be women. Don't you agree with me? Jai Gurudev. Thank you.